Hey, gymnastics moms, have you ever noticed that when your gymnast tries to think positively about something that she really actually has a negative belief, she just gets stuck and she can't move forward? If that's the case, you are in for a treat because we are going to teach you our method that we use inside our program to help somebody go from a negative belief to a positive belief step by step. You're in Mindset for Moms, where we help moms develop happy, healthy gymnasts who know how to win. All right, I'm Coach Stacy, and this week we are working on our thought ladder. So, in order to get from a negative belief to a positive belief, you can't just go there. And I explained why in the first video of the month. So go back and check out that first video if you haven't. And then the second video, I talked about a concept called getting to neutral. And now we're ready to actually work on our thought ladder. So here's a little kind of picture of the thought ladder. And so in our thought ladder, we start down here at the bottom, our current belief. And then we have the new belief that we chose in week one up here at the top. And what most of us try to do is just go from here to here, like literally jump from the ground to the top rung on the ladder. And that just doesn't work. Our brains need time to build a new neural pathway in order to get to the new belief. And so we do it small steps at a time where our brain can't push back so hard. So the idea is that when we do it kind of one small thought step at a time, our brain is more willing to start thinking about accepting that new idea. So I love to start them out at the bottom where we just talk about our current belief. And in that current belief, I just add the sentence or add it onto the beginning. I notice that I'm thinking, and I might be wrong. I notice that I'm thinking I always fall at meets, and I might be wrong about that. I notice that I'm thinking I can't do this, and I might be wrong about that. I notice that I'm thinking I'm not good at beam, and I might be wrong about that. I notice that I'm thinking I can't compete bars, and I might be wrong about that. So we just add, I notice that I'm thinking, and I might be wrong. And the idea of that is we are just helping our brain begin to consider that this is a thought and that maybe it's not true. Maybe it's not a fact. Maybe it's not just the way things are. And we help them begin to loosen that hold that their brain has that this is the way things are by I notice that I'm thinking and I might be wrong. Um, the other ending that I love is I notice that I'm thinking and it just doesn't serve me. Because when their brain is fighting really hard that no, this is true, sometimes it just doesn't serve me. It just doesn't, and it's just not helpful. Um, Especially on something that is like definitely not a right or a wrong answer. But just being able to say, okay, but does that help you to think that? Does it help you, does it serve you to get the results that you're looking for? And if the answer is no, that can be another answer. So, the secret about climbing the thought ladder is that you just do one rung at a time. You don't try to jump up ahead. You stay on one thought until your brain is comfortable with it and it's no longer objecting to it. And you work on that thought actively. And then you move on to the next one. And then you move on to the next one. And then you move on to the next one until you're at the top. And sometimes you can go really quickly, especially if you kind of already believe the new belief. Like sometimes we'll kind of believe things at two times, like believe two things at once, the negative and the positive. And when you kind of already believe the positive one, sometimes you can go up really quick. And sometimes this takes months. But here's what I've learned about it. What it actually just takes is a lot of repetition. We're building a new road. We're building a new thought. And so it's not really about the time that it takes, it's about the amount of times you practice it. And so it's a little bit like a skill in the gym. It's like, it's not really about like, well, it takes this amount of time to get a skill. It takes this amount of repetitions. So interesting. A lot of times when I ask a kid, okay, how many reps do you think you need to get on this particular skill? in order to like feel solid on the low beam on it. And they said, oh, maybe like 25. 25 and 30 is almost always the answer that I get. So I think because I've pulled them, it takes about 25 to 30 reps in order to get a new skill. Maybe it's the same with the thought. So the bottom one is their current. Maybe I'm wrong. I noticed I'm thinking maybe I'm wrong. The next one is just going to be opening up that it's possible. So we have a lot of different, it's possible that maybe someday, maybe it's possible someday I might think, but it's the idea of just that it's possible that this new belief could be true. So if we go with, I can hit 4 for 4. So it's possible that I can hit 4 for 4. And we just kind of work on that one. And I'm going to teach you next week on the exercises that you can do to work on it. This week, it's just about like building that thought ladder. And then the one above that is I am learning or I am becoming. So I'm learning to believe that I could hit 4 for 4. I'm becoming someone who thinks that I can hit 4 for 4. I'm working on the belief that I could hit 4 for 4. I'm considering, I'm curious, I'm in the process of, but it's just that like I am working on it. And I was coaching a gymnast on this just last night. And one of the things that she said was, well, I don't think I'm learning because I'm not doing it. And so even helping, like, no, if you were doing it, then you would be at the top of the ladder. And so learning is the process where sometimes you fail, sometimes you mess up, sometimes you don't have it. In fact, that's how you're going to learn it. You're going to mess up, you're not going to have it. And so they often think that they're not there because they don't have it yet. But being able to help them like see that just being in the process of learning means you don't have it yet, but you're working on it. The next one above that is something around like more often than not. So this is where it's like my brain is starting to use the old belief road a little less and the new belief road more. And I'm at the point where I more often use the new belief. So I'm choosing to believe, I'm committed to believing. More often than not, I believe something along those lines. And then at the very top is the new belief. And so this is the process of creating a thought ladder. I use this thought ladder for so many things in life. This is definitely something, moms, you can use for you to work on a belief for yourself or a belief for your gymnast. And so I just like to keep it really simple, though you can choose a lot of things. The bottom is your current one. The second one is it's possible, I'm learning, and then more often than not. And you can kind of put any thought, any belief you want to work on. The key is now you got to do the work to practice that one step up. We love to teach the gymnasts practice the step up at home when you're doing mental thought work, and then be on the step that you're at in the gym. So if you're in the gym and you're like, I'm learning how to believe that I can hit my series every time on beam, don't try to like tell your brain that you're in the more often than not, like be the learning. But then when you're at home, work on more often than not. And here's the thing, the belief comes first. We want proof before we believe, but it's the belief that drives the proof. So when we believe first, then we feel in certain ways that help us take the actions that create that actual result. So when I believe that I can't hit 4 for 4, I can't hit on beam, I am going to create that result. When I believe that, I feel defeated. And when I'm defeated, I'm going to withdraw and I'm not going to work hard on it. And I'm going to give up in the middle of it. And then I'm going to create that result for myself. I have to work on the belief first before I can get to that new result that I want. And so for your gymnast, just got to work on the belief first. And doing this work in the month of December is so valuable. It sets them up so much for a better season. So, all right, see you next week for the last installment of our thought ladder process.